Lore Lesson: The Mistress of the Wild. From the Field Notes of Cassius Kilborn, Syndicate Intelligence. The members of my expedition are exhausted. We have been traveling on foot for weeks, with minimal periods of respite. Although our discoveries have been enlightening and numerous, our losses have resulted in a somber tone amongst this band of scholars, rangers, and explorers. As of this writing, we have had to bury 8 of our own, lost to the evils of this place. One additional member could no longer stomach the dangers of the island and decided to part ways with our company. We left her drowning her sorrows in a tavern. The blank stare on her face haunts me to this day. Bury, in regards to our dead. It's a strange choice of words indeed. As we've learned, nothing stays dead here on Aeternum. When we lose one of our own, we've had to resort to securing them to a post or a tree well away from us. Because once they breathe their last breath of human existence, it is not long before the island takes them and breathes new life into them as a lost soul. They return with vengeance and murderous intent. I believe this is what plagues our company. Not being able to truly lay our friends to rest has dealt our psyche an insufferable blow. For this reason, the expedition has been granted a temporary leave to rest and refill their spirits. We've taken refuge in the town of Everfall for the time being. Our members are under order to rest up, resupply, and begin research on the things that we've found. I do not know when we will venture out again. For now, they just need some normalcy. But that's enough of our sorrow. I myself am doing just fine. Despite the setbacks, I've learned much as an explorer and researcher. As a matter of fact, I've taken quite the liking to venturing out on my own. Combat has become quite familiar to me. I've certainly taken a liking to this restorative staff I've been using. Not only does it perform quite well with soothing the injuries in battle, but I've also discovered how to utilize its powers to damage those with malintent. It's quite astounding. I've also found a strange, primal glove on our last outing. Very primitive. It's adorned with fur and bones. Much like my staff, it thrums with power when you put it on. But this power is different. I'll continue trying to uncover its secrets as well. As I mentioned, I've begun venturing out on my own as of late. At the risk of appearing boastful, the skill and subterfuge I honed back in London has proven quite invaluable in my solo excursions. I've certainly been able to increase my success in recovering some of these lost documents scattered about Aeternum without having a large party in tow. That which does not notice you doesn't try and kill you. My solitary adventures have centered around the areas to the north of the Everfall settlement, specifically a landmark the locals call the Daughterwell. It's a most intriguing place, with a most intriguing woman overseeing its care. A wild woman with a strange tongue, Adiana Theron, she called herself. I met her as I stumbled upon the location running from a horde of the lost who had picked up my trail in the area. Her demeanor was abrasive, yet somehow kind. I sense a strong distrust for humankind within her. In our conversations, I came to learn that she has spent much of the last several years living in the wilds, studying a strange race of humanoids called the Angry Earth. Nothing surprises me on this island anymore. You could tell me this island moves about the sea upon its own will, and I would readily believe it. For this reason, I wasn't confounded in witnessing this angry earth with my own 2 eyes. leaves and branches twisted into human and animal forms, glowing green eyes and moss-covered wooden armors. These angry earth warriors patrol the island in the areas to the north, and they fiercely protect it. To date, I have never seen agility and battle prowess to match these creatures of nature. Speaking of these angry earth, I tore through my scatterings of notes and found one that our governor himself had set aside for me before we set out on our months-long quest to uncover the secrets of this island. Its contents I did not understand until I witnessed the nature-born earthly beings of Aeternum for myself.
Cassius, I chanced upon this note on the corpse of a fallen ranger we found in the hills above Windsward. In your travels, keep a keen eye for these creatures. I am anxious to discover more about them. Your friend, Solus. Lore page, Stag of the Forest. Renee's journal. Yet as the bison seemed to thin in the passes and I became wary of the strange wolf tracks in the mountains, I found myself avoiding the mountain snows and instead favoring hunts deeper into the woods. It was on the hunt today that I first caught sight of the stag. Not a stag as familiar to us, but something that seemed grown from the forest and had taken the shape of a stag. I know not how to explain it. Around its horns grew moss, flowers, and its hide was the rich green grass of the forest floor. The sight struck me so I could not move, I could not breathe, until the creature seemed to spot me, then leapt away and vanished into the undergrowth. Now every silhouette in the forest stands out starkly to me. The animals of the isle are not governed by the seasons, but shaped from them. The earth, the vegetation, even the snow and ice. Renee Marie Cartier.
These creatures, the angry earth. Adiana is somehow connected to them. She speaks of them as allies, and she describes how they defend the island from any who threaten to leave their mark, especially the corrupted. I'll say, even though I've had to tangle with a few of these angry earth, I am actively seeking a way to befriend them. Any enemy of the corrupted is an ally of mine, of ours. They seem a tough nut to crack, however. Perhaps if I continue to assist Adiana, I can find a way. I have somehow befriended Adiana Theron, and I've grown quite fond of her strange demeanor, to be honest. I've completed several tasks for her in the area, mostly helping to cull the threat from the corrupted, as they are most definitely a scourge upon this land. I feel I'm slowly gaining her trust, which could be beneficial to us both. I journeyed with Adiana to the land known as Eden Grove to the north to further study these angry earth. In an interesting twist of fate, Adiana sent me to speak to a researcher who had recently arrived in the area. Wouldn't you have guessed that this alchemist she spoke of was Dr. Bombastus himself? His camp wasn't far away from where we set our own. The doctor and I had a good laugh when we met each other in the field yet again. "Great minds," he says, "great minds," with a jovial smile. I worked with Dr. Bombastus on several alchemical projects, including the creation of a blight-resistant tincture to aid us when working around these angry earth dryads. I had so many questions. Not just corruption, but a blight upon the land as well? Oh, it never ends, I thought. This land is plagued beyond all imagination. I inquired as to the cause of this blight, and of course, Dr. Theo sent me straight to Adiana. More riddles, I quipped with a chuckle, but I had to admit, I wouldn't be disappointed to see her. Adiana told me tales that were beginning to seem altogether familiar, including expanding upon the story of this Tempest, Isabella, we had heard and read so much about on our expedition. A great threat approaches the land by sea, a box that contained a soul of great power. When the ship foundered, We seized the box and hid it away, Adiana had told me in a somber tone. Wait, can you repeat that? I thought. This proves that Adiana Theron had been on this island for longer than her natural life should allow. What was happening here? Adiana continued to explain how a mother well was connected to the original Daughterwell location where we had first crossed paths. This shook me to my very core. Motherwell. Yes, the Motherwell. I knew it sounded familiar. A wonderful giant of a man, a dear friend and ally, Ulfmare, had sent me the text from a missive he had found, but did not yet understand.
Lore page. Bless us. O Motherwell, please bless our village with health. Please grant us many fat children. Please keep the monsters away. Please watch over us.
Apparently, this Motherwell and the force contained within is what powers the storm wall along the island's coast. The Motherwell is what keeps Aeternum's corruption from spreading across the entire planet. There is no wonder now why she persists we continue to pursue the acceptance of the angry earth. They appear to control the Motherwell, and we must protect it at all costs. I continue to be intrigued by Adiana. There is most certainly something about her to cause this fascination. Now, don't get me wrong, I say this from a position of a researcher, an intelligence gatherer, of course. Well, mostly anyway, but she is intriguing nevertheless. I believe, in my heart and in my mind, Adiana Theron may hold a key of some sort. Perhaps she's testing me. To prove my worth, to prove the Syndicate's dedication to the survival of the island, the survival of the entire planet, and uncovering the mystery. All this before she decides to oblige of more information? Well, if this be the case, then so be it. She has earned my full attention. Signing off for now, Cassius Kilborn.